Okay, straight from the get-go, I need you to know that I want you to walk away from this video feeling so good about yourself. I want you to feel motivated and joyous and happy and optimistic. All of the good things, okay? I want you to leave this video feeling so rejuvenated and just with this breath of fresh air for life, all right? However, I will say there are a few things I want to mention today that definitely get me a little bit heated. Perhaps one might say aggravated, a little bit spicy, a little saucy, but I promise you I will put a positive twist on everything I need to say. Don't get it twisted. Shout out to the podcast. So I'll shut up and then keep talking throughout the rest of the video, but these are some of the tips that I've used to help myself fall in love with fitness. And also I should mention that a lot of these tips have kind of been inspired by a lot of different creators. So as they come up, I will mention them, give everybody credit. So just remember, uplift everybody. I love you all. Let's get the heck into it. I grew up as a competitive cheerleader. I cheered for about 6 or 7 years. It was my absolute favorite thing in the world. It brought me so much joy, so many good friends and good memories. And honestly, it was my entire life. Like, you know, when you're very deep into the sport, you have practices all of the time, the sport becomes your life. Like, your life is sport. That's all that you know. But sometime during my high school experience with cheerleading, everything started to change. All of that positivity that it used to bring me kind of started to shift, and it became a very unhealthy relationship between me, cheerleading, coaches, etc. And it absolutely broke my heart, but I ended up leaving the sport because it just was not a good environment for me to be in anymore. And it's so bad to say this, but because of that experience I had that started to taint my perception of cheerleading, I started to resent the sport. I left the sport, I pushed myself away from one of the things that I loved most in this world, and then also I pushed myself away from fitness and exercise. Because for so long I had been hating it so much, I didn't see how I could find joy in moving my body at all anymore. So I just didn't. I stopped cold turkey. I had basically gotten it ingrained into my mind that movement was not supposed to be fun. Like, when you're working out, when you're moving your body, etc., it's meant to be torturous. It's meant to be pushing you to the point of crying and honestly just hating the idea, there's fuzz, of even going to practice in general or going to move your body in general. It was like the thought of that, the absolute worst. There is 100% a difference between pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, pushing yourself to be better, to do your best, and then just forcing yourself to be in pain. What kind of life will I be living if I'm waking up every single day absolutely hating like that 1 to 2 hour time frame that I actually get to do something for myself? Like, if I know that I absolutely hate burpees, and I mostly do, why in the actual heck would I force myself to do burpees every single day? It's not like that's the only movement that's going to help you feel good. It's not like that is the only thing that matters. Life moves beyond burpees. After I spent at least a year or two hating exercise, hating the idea of exercise, feeling like there was no way I was ever going to enjoy moving my body again, I finally had to take the approach that fitness needs to be fun. I began to make it a point to add as many fun-filled activities into my fitness routine as I wanted. We're talking anything that makes your heart happy. That to me is making life out of fitness. And also, I know that my mind, not my body, my mind hates doing the exact same workout routine over and over and over again. Even the thought of it just sends shivers down my spine. So instead, I lift 3 times a week when I want to, when I have the energy to do it. I'm going to Pilates, I'm going for a run, I'm going for a walk. I'm doing whatever the heck I want that actually brings me joy. And I say this so much, but I really want you to be so cognizant about it. Are you going to the gym and sitting there thinking, why am I spending my days doing bench presses? If you absolutely hate bench presses, don't waste another second of your life. Like, it's not that serious, you know? We are taught that we have to do this one type of exercise, and that exercise is gonna get us this idolized body type that we have to be seeking all of our lives. I'm calling BS. I'm getting ahead of myself because there's a lot of tips I have before I reach that point again, but keep that in mind. I always grew up wanting to sit on my kitchen counters, but I knew my mom would get mad at me. But now that I live in my own home, we're making dreams come true. Here we are. Segueing into our next point, which is inspired by Lucy Mountain, If you can't find the motivation to be doing your fitness routine, maybe, just maybe, it's because you absolutely hate it. At the end of the day, we have to remember that this fitness industry is a billion-dollar industry. So sometimes we might not even realize what it is that we are being sold, what we're being told to do, what we're being taught to believe. It's really, really easy to get it all twisted. And I didn't mean to just throw another podcast pun in there. I will see so many guides that I used to follow myself that would tell me to be doing like 6 workouts a week, and all of them are HIIT workouts, as in extraordinarily high intensity movements that is very, very hard on your body and your joints and your bones and all the in between. And then when I naturally would not stick to 6 workouts per week because it's too much for me. If that's fine for you, you do you, but that's too many workouts in 1 week for me. And honestly, it doesn't seem like enough rest days, but that's just my opinion. So when you inevitably can't or won't work out 6 times per week, you end up getting mad at yourself. You end up resenting yourself and getting mad at yourself because you're the one that couldn't stick to this ridiculous workout routine. When in actuality, it's the workout routine and the guide that's flawed itself. Because we are constantly promoted things and everything is just coming at us in such a high quantity these days, we are often taught to believe if we are not doing this type of workout, this exercise, this guide, or maybe if we haven't purchased this magical miracle product that's going to get us to where we want to be, then we aren't doing enough. We aren't doing everything that we can to get to this idolized, unrealistic beauty standard. That's when you have to like break down the marketing schemes that go into all of the ways that these are promoted to recognize there is absolutely no way that a company, a person, an influencer, whomever, could promote something that could apply to the 7+ billion people on this earth. There is a reason there are different workout styles. There is a reason that there are different exercises that work for different people. There's a reason that people love to run and some people hate to run and some people love to lift weights and other people hate it. There are different workout styles for a reason because nobody's body works the same. Why are we all still trying to fit the same type of mold? It's infuriating. And that's what I'm saying. I get a little bit heated with some of these topics because it is just aggravating and frustrating. And then we're taught to internalize all of that, hate on ourselves, and put ourselves at fault. When in actuality, it's not our fault. When will we have that recognition that this is our lifestyle, our lives, our bodies, and we get to call the shots. We get to do what we want, and we get to have the fitness that makes us happiest. It's like building that foundation in your mind that you have to understand where all of your motives are coming from. Anytime that I went to go do some ridiculous regime and I couldn't find motivation for it anymore, maybe I really needed to sit down and think, I don't have motivation for that because it's something that I literally don't want to be doing. So I want to spend the rest of my life doing something that I don't enjoy? No. Not for this girl. Nope. To make my little positive twist on this, because I was getting like a little bit fiery, just a hair. Be cognizant about where you're getting your information. Is the person that you're following secretly trying to promote something, secretly promoting their business, or not so secretly? Or is it somebody that has a certification behind their name? Is it somebody that's knowledgeable? Is it somebody that is uplifting you? Do you feel bad about yourself every time you're scrolling through their feed? Unfollow them. Don't drain your energy by making yourself feel bad about not being like somebody else. Not worth your time. Not worth your time. Reezy peasy. It's Reezy peasy. Don't you love it that we all just have that dog voice? This next one is probably the hardest to actually put into action, especially if you were in the same spot that I used to be in myself. It's gonna take a lot more than just some happy words, positive thoughts to get there. But the best thing that I could have done for myself was actually work on my confidence inside and outside of the gym. I mentioned this on my podcast, but it's actually been 2 years now that I uploaded my very first YouTube video. Please don't waste your time. Like, you don't have to go back and watch it. It's really not anything fabulous. But the point being is that I have changed so much as a person in so many ways since I uploaded that first video. October 2nd, 2019. There are a lot of reasons for this. Like I had to go through a lot myself, of course, but I started working on me. I put myself on my own little back burner for years and years. And I was constantly also trying to fit this mold to be somebody that I was never going to be. I didn't believe in myself. I wasn't confident in myself. I had no confidence, like literally whatsoever. And I also used to think that having confidence was a cocky thing. It meant that you were full of yourself. It meant that you were too uppity. I didn't think that it was a good thing to have confidence. And honestly, I think that's a little bit of some internalized misogyny here. But in general, my confidence was so low that the thought of working on myself and the thought of moving my body, the thought of working on a fitness routine wasn't even like fathomable, because I thought, like, what was the point? Eventually, I'm like fast forwarding here, but eventually I had to realize that I needed to stop trying to seek out fitting into this mold that was honestly never going to be me. And this was present in so many areas of my life. Like even when I wanted to start my YouTube channel, I felt like I couldn't do it because I didn't fit the mold of what a typical YouTuber was like. Therefore, I should never start my channel. I'll never be successful. Like this was my horrible negative train of thought to myself. This was the way I would talk to myself. Then of course that transcends to looks. I don't look a certain way. My body type isn't good enough to be talking about fitness online. I don't look a certain way. I don't act a certain way. So therefore my thoughts and opinions on things aren't relevant. They're not good enough. It doesn't matter. Even something as small as feeling like I had to wear certain things because I moved from California to the Pacific Northwest, and I felt like I had to wear certain clothes because that's what everybody wore in the PNW. I gave myself blisters, bleeding blisters when I first moved to Washington for college because I thought I had to wear Birkenstocks to fit into the crowd. I literally would put on 4 Band-Aids every single morning before I'd get ready for school because I was breaking in these shoes, and I thought I had to do that to fit the mold. Now, of course, I love Birkenstocks now. They've become one of my favorite shoes, but at the time, I didn't think I was able to wear what I used to wear back home, and I didn't have the confidence in myself to just be me. It's so silly now, but that was the way that I was thinking. But over time, and by over time, I mean like the last 20 years of my life, I finally started to work on myself. The way that I would talk to myself, the way I carried myself. Because I had spent so many years with this negative person living very rent-free in my mind, this was so imperative for me to be able to push past that lack of confidence and that lack of interest in working on myself and pursuing a fitness routine that was going to uplift me, because for so long I was the least confident person in the world.
If someone was as critical of me as I am of me, I would not spend an hour around that person.
Yeah.
And yet I have to spend 24 hours with this person every single day.
I started to try cooking after telling myself I was the worst chef on the entire planet. And to be honest, I'm still not fabulous, but it was something I needed to actually start trying instead of continuing this narrative of I'm always going to be the worst. This is a hard one, but I had to take some time away from just scrolling on my phone, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, and actually like pick up a book, take myself away, do something that was at least a percentage bettering myself. Because honestly, after hours of scrolling, I would leave feeling defeated. I'd leave feeling down on myself. I would feel like I was just comparing my story to somebody else's highlight reel, and that's not on them. Like, that's on me. But I had to learn it wasn't good for me. It was only draining me, draining my energy. Also, going back to like the little Birkenstock thing, I learned to express myself with my fashion more. I always felt like I was that kind of person that would follow a trend because that's what I thought I had to do, you know, fitting the mold, here we go. But I've realized I have a very distinct interest in what I like to wear. And the smart thing to do is to lean into that instead of trying to follow these fast fashion trends that are over by the end of the day. I started working on my wardrobe. I started thinking about ways that I could build my capsule wardrobe. That's something I've been very passionate about lately, which is essentially building up a lot of my pieces to always be complementing one another instead of buying like these random statement jackets that will never match anything in my wardrobe. And then, I don't know, it just feels like this big regret of a purchase. But as I've been building my capsule wardrobe, one of my favorite things to do is to go online shopping through ThredUp, which is an online consignment and thrift store for your wallet, your closet, and the planet. ThredUp is the sponsor for today's video. It is absolutely one of my favorite things in the world, and I'm honored to be working with them yet again. And not only is it helping me build this amazing capsule wardrobe, these one-of-a-kind finds, it's also enabling so many people to think secondhand first. In fact, this outfit that I'm wearing right now is all from ThredUp. This is a cashmere sweater from the brand Autumn Cashmere. It was originally $190. Your girl got it for $38.99. Talk about scream of a deal. Plus, this skirt, which is like my favorite autumn fall type of skirt from H&M, brand spanking new with tags. This one just might be one of the best finds I have ever gotten before. This is a Kenneth Cole long puffer jacket, okay? Look how long this is. Originally $179, I got it for $38.99. I have been searching for a jacket like this for forever. This is what I'm talking about when I say all of these pieces complement one another. When I'm building my capsule wardrobe, this is what I want. And it's so nice to be able to do it through a sustainable source like ThredUp. Two other pieces styled together with some cute shoes. This dress is originally from H&M. Top originally from Madewell. Both came brand new with tags, which is absolutely wild. And I feel so cute and confident in these pieces, which just ties back to the whole idea of working on yourself inside and outside of the gym. When I'm shopping on ThredUp, it's so easy. You can shop by size, color, prices, and even condition of the clothing. This is also the most me thing ever, but I found this Christmas sweater. It's originally from Tiara International, and I couldn't resist. Also, a big thank you to ThredUp for sponsoring today's video. You can also get an extra 30% off of your first order with ThredUp when you shop through the link in my description box below and you use my code Taylor. We absolutely love to see it. At first I was like, wait a minute, I should probably take off the Christmas sweater, like I'm gonna offend some spooky, scary skeletons. And then I'm like, wait a minute. We're living our best selves here, okay? We're keeping it on, baby. This is sad. I think this is kind of sad because it's a mentality that I have held for, I think, the entirety of my life. This is inspired by a TikTok from a user named Ginger Grinch. Love it.
I feel like I've lived my entire life as if there's this inner super skinny girl that's one day gonna come out. Like, I'm constantly operating under the expectation, assumption, hope, narrative that like one day I'm gonna lose a ton of weight. And it comes out in little ways, like when you try on jeans and they're a little tight, you're like, oh, but like when I lose 5 pounds, like it'll fit perfectly. Like, sweetie, I've never lost 5 pounds. Like, I think it's just been one constant upward trajectory, basically my entire life. And it's so sad. I feel like there's this inside skinny legend that I just have this fantasy of one day becoming.
In short, essentially she's describing how we have this idea ingrained in our minds that one day we're going to be this different body type, or we're going to look a completely different way than we do right now. So even though we're gonna put on these jeans and they're a little bit snug, not to worry, because in just a few weeks, you know, you'll be able to squeeze into them once you lose that 5 pounds, that 10 pounds that we are supposed to lose. And as she said, that like little voice in our head just comes out in little ways. It's little things that we do to ourselves. It's little ways that we talk to ourselves that honestly can be very, very damaging every single day, all of the time, year after year, for years on end. It's hurtful. It's hurtful to ourselves. It's hurtful to this idea that what we are living in right now is not good enough, and that one day we will be this ideal body type that we've been seeking all of our lives. For me personally, it also kind of coincides with this constant struggle of not understanding how my body has evolved since I was a teenager, let's say. I will constantly compare myself to photos that I've seen of myself when I was 15 years old, 18 years old, whatever. And I don't know about you, but first and foremost, my body has changed so much since I was a teenager. And second of all, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would I want to compare myself right now to the body that I had when I was 15 years old? From an evolutionary perspective, like that does not add up. But for whatever reason, we hold on to this idea that we're supposed to be stuck in that one stationary weight body type forever and ever, amen. Bottom line, it held me back for so long because I was fighting myself. I was fighting evolution, essentially, with my own body. And I was constantly telling myself, oh, I'll be happier when I lose this amount of weight. I'll be happier when these jeans fit a little bit tighter at the top. When in actuality, I want my body to evolve as I get older because I shouldn't have the body of a 15-year-old at 24 years old. And also, I do not operate to fit into a pair of jeans. If the jeans serve me, if they love me, if they fit me well, fabulous. If they no longer fit me, then they are gone. They do not serve me, Goodbye. We are done. This point was actually inspired by my friend Kim Tries Adulting. She's so stinking funny. Kim, please take it away.
Has anyone else realized that they associate exercising with losing weight and that's the only way that they get themselves to exercise? Does that not seem suspicious? Does that not seem a little weird?
This idea that we have to only work out for weight loss, or that if we're even talking about fitness in general, it has to involve weight loss, absolutely just it gets my gears so grinded, because that's just the most toxic diet culture ideology that is preventing so many people from just moving because they enjoy it or because it's good for our health. And I hate that, even as somebody who talks about my fitness journey on my channel, that it has to always somehow revolve around the weight I'm losing or the way that my body looks here versus then versus before, after, whatever. Why can't that be two separate things? Why can't weight loss be different than fitness? Why can't fitness just be about bettering yourself, moving your body because you can and you're able to, versus weight loss, which is a completely different chapter of a completely different book? We're settling. We're settling. I think I've battled this my entire life, and I also think it fits very well with what we were just mentioning, how we're constantly thinking about our soon-to-be body instead of recognizing that there's absolutely nothing wrong with our right now body. Fitness is meant to add to our lives. It is meant to uplift us and motivate us and make us joyous and happy and give us endorphins that are so good for our mind, our body, our soul. You can have a strict fitness routine. You can work out every single day, and your end goal could just be wanting to enjoy your workout, wanting to move your body because you want to, not because it has anything to do with the way you look or any amount of weight on your body. Bottom line. It's like one of those things that I can only see now that I'm out of the darkness and I can see things for what they truly are, to even be like asking the question of how and when fitness started to correlate with weight loss, or like seeking a certain body type, reaching a certain beauty standard. From whose gaze, I might add? I'm realizing this is like a bit of a debunker episode because it was these things that I had to unlearn myself to be able to understand how empowering fitness is as a whole and why it has been such a prevalent thing in my entire life because of all it's enabled me to do. And I think my own understanding of how I was supposed to be approaching this fitness journey was honestly holding me back, because what I was taught to believe was all wrong. I wrote down a lot of things that I do that help me out with fitness and falling in love with fitness. So if you like this idea and you want to hear more, or you have ideas yourself that you want to share with me, you want me to share with the class, let me know if you want to see a part 2. I've got about like 6 more things written down here, but I don't want to take too much of your time today. So let me know if you liked it by giving this video a big thumbs up, subscribing to the channel. Also, again, thank you so much to ThredUp for sponsoring today's video. Remember, you can use the link in my description box for an extra 30% off of your first order with ThredUp and when you use my code Taylor. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love you all so stinking much. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.